What's up, everybody? Hope you guys enjoyed the new intro I've been working on. This is King Kong 9100, and today we will be talking about MechaGodzilla in the Monsterverse. Now, it's almost universally known that he will be in Godzilla vs. Kong, so today I wanted to take the speculation a step further and actually discuss just how they could bring MechaGodzilla into the Monsterverse in a grounded manner. We'll be going from discussing his potential abilities, his personality. Oh yeah, you know we're going Berserker Kaiju up in here. Design, all the way up to my favorite thing to discuss, his origin. Enough wasting time, let's just delve right into it. Now, the one way that I think MechaGodzilla will truly feel formidable to Godzilla is a much more noticeable size difference. Now, I personally enjoy it when my MechaGodzillas are around 30 to 50 feet bigger than Godzilla himself in height. So if we can have a MechaGodzilla that is around 430 to 450 feet in height, that subtle yet noticeable size difference would instantaneously make him feared among everybody. And since he's a purely mechanical titan, he should definitely be weighty, you know. I would make him weigh anywhere from 120,000 to 140,000 tons. Put him right between Muto Prime and Ghidorah, while Methuselah reigns supreme as the heaviest titan. So, 450 foot MechaGodzilla. How can we make this monster design to feel grounded in realism, while also maintaining complete integrity to what MechaGodzilla's design from the source material has always been? That was a hell of a run-on sentence. Firstly, we should discuss what the MechaGodzilla design from GVK actually looks like. Now, of course, I can't actually show the design since these videos will get taken down, so I'm gonna have to use fan-made interpretations. You know, honestly, just a quick Google search will probably get you the results you want to see. You know, just look up MechaGodzilla Playmates in the search bar, you'll definitely find it. But as we can see, this design is sort of bland, especially when you compare it to the former MechaGodzilla designs. Oh, not the anime. The anime one is horrible. Let's not talk about that one. So we can clearly tell that there is a difference between what the Monsterverse MechaGodzilla design is going for and what previous MechaGodzillas have achieved. I'm not a big fan of the legendary MechaGodzilla's weirdly shaped backplates, nor am I a fan of the stumpy feet and the claw hand. Now, we do know that there will be a version of the Playmates Godzilla figure that comes with this red armor on his back. Again, I can't show it here, but trust me, one Google search will help you find it. It looks to be about, you know, the same color of the MechaGodzilla's backplates, so I think that it will connect to MechaGodzilla's already weird short backplates to make his spines appear much bigger. But I also am not a fan of his weird, bulky body that seems to have no defined chest or lower torso. For quick comparison, look at Sexy Ass Godzilla 1991. Look at this beautiful design. Coming in at a side profile, we can see he has a clearly defined chest region that curves inwards and back out, and then curving back in, you know, as it goes down. It almost looks like a reverse S. What I hate about the Monsterverse Godzilla 2019 design and the MechaGodzilla design is that they seem to be making them these gigantic fat blobs. Almost like it's me. So I would hope for some torso definition to MechaGodzilla and even to Godzilla himself, because the 2014 proportions were great to me. As for, aside from the spines, if they were just bigger, it would be, you know, just amazing. But as for MechaGodzilla's stumpy feet and claw hands, I would be fine with it as long as he could transform those stumpy feet and claw hands to become much more akin to the traditional MechaGodzilla design. For comparison, I know that was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? For comparison, we see in Infinity War, when Iron Man clashes with Thanos on, I think it's the planet Titan, Iron Man transforms his feet into these pure weighty block-like feet. They're like MechaGodzilla's own feet. They allow him to hold his ground, not get shoved around. It's almost like he has this secure weight anchored to his feet. If MechaGodzilla would somehow be able to utilize this, that would be great. Because as it stands now, it looks like MechaGodzilla can barely use his feet to walk. Like, he needs to do some kind of like shuffle. It looked terrible yet beautiful. Same with the claw hand, you know, if that can transform from a much more Showa-esque hand to the claw hand, we'd be good. I do like the Eat-A-Lot design as well as the Ready Player One designs. And if you don't know, Eat-A-Lot is this person I'm showing right now, this person's fan art. Amazing fan art, go ahead and check him out on DeviantArt. If they could somehow sort of combine these two designs, that would be awesome. So as we know, Sayaka, who is a leaker for the film, has mentioned that the Playmates figures do not do MechaGodzilla justice. And you know, you can look up Sayaka's reputation. He got removed from Toho Kingdom, but he made the most accurate, predictions for, you know, the Monsterverse, and especially for King of the Monsters, because he was working on, I think he's in the concept art department or something like that, but he works with Legendary or either with Toho. He works directly with one another. So we know for a fact what Sayaka says goes. He is 100% accurate, and I totally believe him, and I'm hoping that the design will look better on screen. So let's go over some of MechaGodzilla's potential abilities. Now for starters, I want this MechaGodzilla to be a brute in hand-to-hand combat. Have him be equipped with kaiju hurting missiles, you know, specifically built to penetrate any kind of monster skin. Godzilla, Kong, Methuselah, any freaking monster, the most powerful of monsters. These are kaiju hurting missiles. These fire out of his fingertips, of course, his knees, his toes, his nostrils even. You know, just make him just a total beast who can bloody up even Godzilla himself with these missiles. I want this MechaGodzilla to be super close with the original Showa Godzilla, while also remaining different. I would love it if he had a beam weapon, preferably his space beams. If they were able to also outfit this MechaGodzilla with the G Crusher, which, if you don't know, was an improved version of the shock anchors Heisei MechaGodzilla had, that would also be very nice to see. Using the G Crusher as well as both Paralyzer and Tranquilizer missiles, MechaGodzilla surely would be able to put down any Titan. One thing we discussed earlier is MechaGodzilla's hand transforming into a claw hand. Now what the hell would a claw hand be good for? While not confirmed by Sayaka, a rumor was floating around that MechaGodzilla would be able to basically absorb the radiation from other kaiju with this claw hand. What would be great to see is if MechaGodzilla were able to basically put a kaiju down with his other abilities, and then transform his hand into the claw hand to actually absorb the radiation from other kaiju. Not only would that make them extremely weak, but it would also power up MechaGodzilla himself, who basically thrives off radiation. From there, it'd be much easier to just kill the kaiju. It would be cool to see how this affects Kong in particular, because unlike Godzilla, Kong doesn't depend on radiation. You know, he feeds off of it on Skull Island, it's helping him grow. But that isn't his primary source of energy. It isn't his primary source of what gets him going. You know what I mean? So this whole claw hand would basically go ineffective for Kong, which would make for a great turning point scene in the Hong Kong battle. We also discussed MechaGodzilla's weird stumpy feet. And like I said, you know, MechaGodzilla could pull an Iron Man and transform his feet into these massive stumpy feet, which would basically give him a solid ground against heavy titans. So you're still probably like, what the hell is this guy talking about? So say Godzilla were charging MechaGodzilla. Everybody knows if Godzilla charges you, you're gonna move backwards no matter what. MechaGodzilla would be able to transform his feet into these pure weighted feet. They're almost like freaking anchors, like kaiju-sized anchors. And when Godzilla clashes with MechaGodzilla, MechaGodzilla shockingly does not move an inch. All of a sudden, you know, tension increases and the stakes are indeed raised. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. If we gave him a tail spike he could use in combat, that would also be pretty badass. Razor sharp tip of his tail that could stab into an opponent, or, you know, we could also go with the sharp spines on his actual tail, which he could basically swing into an opponent. So if he swung his tail and it sort of tilted so that the spikes were facing the opponent, whatever it's hitting, you know, like the stomach, for example. If the spines are basically facing the stomach, you get one hefty ass swing, and you also virtually stab that opponent with all of those spines that are razor sharp and are on your tail. That would be pretty cool to see as well. Let's go over MechaGodzilla's personality. Now hold up, a lot of you may be thinking, and I know I keep saying this, but honestly, I know what you guys are thinking. I know you're like, what the hell, MechaGodzilla's a robot. He doesn't have personality. Hell, some of you may prefer MechaGodzilla not to have personality at all and be a purely mechanical robot titan who only follows commands. The way I would go about MechaGodzilla even having a personality is I would basically cover all my bases so that, you know, people who want to see purely mechanical MechaGodzilla are like, alright, bet, that's awesome. People who want to see MechaGodzilla actually have a personality would be like, hell yeah, let's go. And this correlates to his origin story, but since Sayaka has confirmed that King Ghidorah and MechaGodzilla are linked, I'm gonna assume that they used the Ghidorah head to somehow bring MechaGodzilla to life. Maybe, just maybe, the regeneration property could be used to give MechaGodzilla some sort of nanotechnology like healing factor. I don't know, something like that. It's like, part of me is like, alright, we could have a nanotechnology MechaGodzilla, but then I'm like, if he has a healing factor, it would basically draw out all tension in a battle, and that's why I always hate the idea of having a healing factor. Of course, I'm fine with a monster having a healing factor that has them heal over the course of a few days. Like, you can have Godzilla, he could heal his wound after like a day or two, you know, just purely heal it. But when you get to the point where it's like regeneration G1, where it's literally like Deadpool or basically Wolverine, if you have a healing factor like that, there's no tension in the battle, and it's just like dumb to see, you know? So I prefer the battles to have tension, and I prefer monsters to not have insta healing factors, you know? Have a healing factor, keep it tame, keep it around 1 to 3 days of pure healing, and we're good. So yeah, I'm basically a no on the regeneration property being used to give him a healing factor, but it could still be used to actually revive MechaGodzilla. Wait, revive? Well, think about it. If MechaGodzilla were found rather than built from scratch, the Ghidorah head being used to basically revive him in a way could definitely work. Maybe the company Apex, which is a rival company to Monarch, already has malicious intentions, such as trying to frame Godzilla through the use of holographic imagery to disguise MechaGodzilla as Godzilla. They go about destroying vast open areas to not kill as many people, but to at least raise awareness to the government so they could be worried enough to actually act on Godzilla destroying cities, even though it isn't Godzilla. Eventually, the Ghidorah head could corrupt MechaGodzilla and then give him a mind of his own, and suddenly, not even Apex can control their creation, going against their goal of just having Godzilla and all Titans eliminated. Once again, I want to stress this point. Apex doesn't want to kill humans. They don't want to. Their whole point is to save humanity. But you know, MechaGodzilla goes rogue, and all of a sudden, that's out the window, and all these people start dying to MechaGodzilla. Since Godzilla and Kong are the two alphas and are both the most powerful forces on the Earth, Apex wants MechaGodzilla to fight them both when they are weak from their own clash. They want to keep humanity safe, but with the corrupt MechaGodzilla going rogue, cities get destroyed, and both Godzilla and Kong are forced to stop him. I want rogue MechaGodzilla to be like Berserker Kairu, in that he lays waste on cities with no hesitation or sympathy. This is basically the mind of Ghidorah, so MechaGodzilla is, on all accounts, purely evil. And lastly, I want to discuss MechaGodzilla's origin. Now, I would strongly prefer if this MechaGodzilla were alien. Now, I don't think humans should be able to just make the technological leap of being able to create an Argo jet to creating a 450-foot mechanized Titan, especially one that wouldn't fall apart the second a Titan smacked it. Here's my deal. Argo jets or aircraft carriers that can hold 2 kaiju, fine. As completely stupid as the last one looks. But being able to create MechaGodzilla? No way. In 5 years, humans were only able to create a jet that's big. I mean, that's still a milestone, but compared to MechaGodzilla, it's just a jet. If GVK takes place a year or 2 after King of the Monsters, there's no way they could suddenly sprout a fucking MechaGodzilla. Now, I highly prefer MechaGodzilla being an alien. My actual theory was that, or you know, my hope, I guess, is that MechaGodzilla landed on Earth, specifically on Skull Island, thousands of years ago, and he's found buried deep in the Hollow Earth. Either Monarch discovers this and is then infiltrated by Apex, or only Apex finds it. So that way, later on in the film, even Monarch is like, what the fuck is that? They're able to dust the behemoth off, but it is very, very hard to control, and that is because it is an alien creation. Imagine how hard it would be to control an alien ship, or to control an alien anything, an iPhone. You know, fuck it. Did they make a whole movie with Amy Adams about trying to communicate with aliens, and they basically try to I think Amy Adams tries to teach these aliens sign language, or just language in general? Imagine how hard that is, and then imagine how hard it would be to control a ship of theirs. That would be extremely difficult. So the technological advancement that humans make in the Monsterverse is that they're able to basically control MechaGodzilla. They create these boards and these controls that help establish a firm control for MechaGodzilla. But they're not exactly able to get it to work properly because it still needs to be fueled by something. There still needs to be that energy source that fuels MechaGodzilla. Basically, it needs radiation to work properly. So that plays into Apex's main goal, killing all the Titans. They can absorb as much radiation as they want from any of the Titans. And also, it would be really cool to have them, you know, study Godzilla and be like, how does Godzilla even work? How is he able to store all this radiation? He has those spines that are really like large. They're able to store a lot of radiation. You know, that's just a cool little tidbit, but yeah, they'd be able to also use holographic imagery to completely disguise MechaGodzilla as Godzilla. And then they frame Godzilla for destroying cities. Humans will be like, alright, well shit, Godzilla is a bad guy now and we need to act. And because Godzilla's Titans will venture onto Skull Island to find a new home, and Kong will pick them off, Godzilla would eventually arrive onto Skull Island and unknowingly kill a ton of the Iwi natives and destroy their wall. This sets Kong off, and you know, that way Godzilla and Kong clash on Skull Island. Now the government is like, okay, Godzilla is bad, but we need to make sure he goes. And this is working in Apex's favor, up until MechaGodzilla suddenly goes rogue. It unchains itself from the base that it's in, and it flies out instantaneously once it hears either alpha roar. Apex pilots are still in there and are basically screwed. Then by Hong Kong, after Kong and Godzilla battle viciously, they team up to defeat MechaGodzilla, who arrives to kill them both. They win, and this is a part that I'd really like to see. It really plays into tying emotion and how Godzilla, how he feels about humans. Godzilla swipes off half of MechaGodzilla's face and sees human pilots. And now Godzilla understands humans have stepped out of line. They tried to play God, and that is unacceptable. It's a sort of moment of betrayal considering Godzilla has always defended humans. Godzilla needs to restore the balance. He turns and unleashes his atomic wrath upon the city in a Shin Godzilla-like climax, and Kong just roars in shock. This sets up a pure final battle between Godzilla and Kong, where the gloves are off and they get bloody. It totally subverts expectations of, oh yeah, they're just gonna fight and then they're gonna team up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like they fight after they team up too, so then, it's just a cool way to subvert expectations. Why is my voice so high? I made another video about Camazotz, as well as how I would do GVK, updated specifically for all of the leaks that we know of. So check out that video for more depth to this entire story to how I would do GVK, knowing the leaks we know. But this is about MechaGodzilla's origin. If nobody wants to see the alien MechaGodzilla being buried and uncovered, I have a few other ideas. They're not as good, but, whatever. I'll just throw them out there, see what you guys, chew on it, see what you guys think, and spit it back out. One idea that would be cool is if Apex just straight up builds MechaGodzilla. In which case, yeah, it's definitely inconsistent and makes no sense at all, as I pointed out. And not in the way of, oh my god, giant monsters aren't supposed to feel realistic. No, don't give me that bullshit. I mean that it feels inconsistent with the in-universe rules. Like I said, humans being able to go from an Argo jet to MechaGodzilla would not make a lot of sense. Maybe 10 years after Godzilla vs. Kong, but not 1 year after King of the Monsters, where they're just able to make that Argo jet. And with that whole realistic argument, that's such bullshit, They could have made this whole universe extremely realistic. It just depends on execution. They could have had everything that they wanted. It's all about the execution, and it all just takes effort. Michael Dougherty sucked, and he did not want to make an effort to make the films realistic, so he just went, completely apeshit with his King of the Monsters shit flick. If he wanted, he could have made it extremely realistic. I have a video on how I would do King of the Monsters, and that seems much more realistic than how they actually went about it, power up after power up, all this nonsense. It's fucking Godzilla. I don't know, it's not like an anime, dude, it's just so annoying. I'm not gonna... I'm so sorry, guys, I didn't mean to rant, but I'll definitely make that, my Godzilla rant video maybe another time if you guys are interested in it. I know a lot of you aren't, and this is gonna earn me a lot of dislikes, but hey, fuck me, right? We could also take Apex just building MechaGodzilla a step further and go full Millennium by having them build MechaGodzilla around the bones of Dagon. I know a lot of you know about Dagon. It's just a Godzilla skeleton, part of the Godzilla species. Its name was Dagon, and it was found in 1999 in the Philippines. But yeah, this way, they have the support structure necessary to build upon Dagon, and it also answers the question of why would you make a robot Godzilla when you could make literally anything else? Because the support structure of Dagon's body gives them no real choice. And also, if your Titan needs radiation and needs to store radiation, you already have the backplates of the Dagon skeleton, so you model it around the bones, you model the You model the metal around the bones of Dagon, and now you have a lot more flexibility when it comes to how much radiation a Titan can store, specifically in MechaGodzilla's backplates, in addition to those large super armor plates that, was on the Godzilla figure. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. And with everything we have discussed so far, MechaGodzilla is going to be one of the most powerful forces in all of the Monsterverse. And that is going to be it for me, everybody. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please drop a like and a sub if you did. I have some animation in the works, but, I've been lacking some motivation for these discussion videos. So if you guys have any ideas for videos you want to see, please let me know in the comments below, as I'll make that video and I'll credit you for the idea. And once again, I hope you all enjoyed. This is King Kong 9700 signing out. Until next time, bye bye.